In wisdom teachings, and particularly Buddhism, there is this principle of no self, that the self has no fundamental essence to it. It can't be found in the world, in the universe, in and of itself. It only exists in relation to other things. Now that's an odd abstract idea. It's perhaps a description of the notion of no self. What can happen through psychedelics is that you can have the insight or the experience of no self. But I just want to tee you up for that possibility by describing a little bit that phenomenon ahead of time. The deep-seated sense of personal identity that we all have is a fiction, a tragic habit that lies at the root of craving and anguish. So with those few words on the sense of self, there is this principle going into a psychedelic journey that it's nice to recognize the ego for what it does for you during normal waking consciousness, how it can drive you on, help you get things done, how it tries to look after you in a way. And so you give it acknowledgement, you recognize it, but you also say, for this journey, you're invited to go on leave. You can leave the space for this period. This is heart work, not head work. The thinking cup is full. Sink into the heart and go on vacation for a little while. And when you come back, as inevitably you will, the ego, then there'll be new insights and new material to integrate, to take forwards. Something that the ego does as a kind of intrinsic feature of it is that it tries to control. It entangles us in things. And one thing that can happen under a psychedelic, as happens in ordinary life, is that it can, in a sense, distract us and create sort of decoys away from the heart, if you want. There's a way that the ego can intellectualize, can be analytical and kind of heady, thinky. As a sort of defense mechanism, it puts us into our head and away from our heart and our body. And I just want to flag that as a thing that we do. I know I do it. But going into a psychedelic journey, just to know that, to recognize it, and to try and soften it, try and get into the body, into the heart. And it's all about that principle of letting go, recognizing how we can defend ourselves, acknowledging that, but also allowing it to fall away as we sink into our heart. As the ego entangles, the inverse, the opposite of that is to let go. But letting go is a funny old thing. It's quite difficult to kind of really know what it means, and sometimes it's only looking back at a psychedelic journey that we can understand whether or not we let go or not. So I think the best thing that you can do ahead of a psychedelic journey is to just acknowledge it and realize that the process of letting go is often a conscious decision. You choose to let go. And so I would encourage you to invite yourself ahead of your journey that you're going to make a conscious decision to trust the foundations are good, and then to make a conscious decision to let go. There is this phrase that letting go is the action of heroes. It's just a nice way to look at the process of letting go, and letting go being a conscious decision, that it requires courage. It's not a kind of surrender. It's a brave act to consciously let go. Now, I just want to repeat this theme of laying good foundations, and it relates to letting go. You want to know that your guide is someone that you do truly trust, that you feel you can open up to. Like a good parent, when those foundations are strong, it's easier to explore. It's easier to go untethered because you feel safe, you feel secure, you know you can come back to those solid foundations.